What's going on? Welcome on into today's trade recap, Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. We have a one and done for today. I don't really like the price action that I'm seeing elsewhere, so it was simply put a put on IWM, or multiple puts, 4 of them to be exact, on IWM we traded. We got a net ROI of 9.18%, so it kind of back tested against me, but I did lock in the majority of the gains, as you will see. So why were we looking at IWM? Here we are on TradeZilla to kind of recap this trade. We were looking at IWM because it has been the weakest by far compared to the S&P, the Dow, or the NASDAQ. So it's the Russell 2000. It's essentially small caps that make up the Russell 2000. I have not loved trading SPY, QQQ, or IWM as much lately because we've got a lot of this going on, a lot of chop, up, down, up, down, up, down. We've got a little more direction, and I think the clarity of the direction in IWM is better. Why? Because the 10-year is going, sky high. And if I jump over to these daily charts, IWM's daily chart is substantially weaker than SPY, than QQQ, than the Dow. And part of that has to do with people being risk off when the 10-year is going to now nearly 5%. So as the 10-year skyrockets to 5%, it's in kind of a parabolic state right now. If you zoom out, it's very, very parabolic as we speak. Maybe it's in one of the final stages of at least this push of the rally. Who knows? I'm not going to speculate on that. I don't really, it doesn't really matter for the trade. But when that occurs, you're seeing people, stay away or sell the small caps and sell the riskier plays. The riskier companies that maybe get hit the hardest when debt becomes that much more expensive. So with that said, that's why we focused on IWM. And I jump back here. The entry on the trade was actually a break of this downside consolidation. So IWM pushes down, consolidate, see these upper wicks here, and then this upper wick sells off, and then we break these lows. It was just almost double bottom almost, break these lows. And that was now my stop loss, that upper wick, which also happened to come in line with about the 9 EMA, 9 exponential moving average. So I played that and we got a nice push, nothing crazy, but we got a nice push to the downside. It took its time from the entry at around, 9:29 to finally getting out by 10:17. So almost an hour total. And honestly, I could stay in. I could have stayed in because all we really did was back test the breakdown. But I've got essentially like a more of a systematic play to this where we break back over the 9 EMA, which I'm going to pull that up so you guys can see because it makes a lot more sense. And in here in TradeZilla, you can put in moving averages, exponential moving averages, all that stuff. So here's the 9 EMA. It's actually what pops up first. If I was to adjust this, I want to make this line larger so we can see it better. Let me just do that really quick. So now we're good to go. So now you can see that 9 EMA. See how we're below that 9 EMA? That's essentially the momentum indicator for me. Once we broke back above that, I was out, which is what I got out on this candle. So I entered here at 275 for 4 contracts. I sold 2 of them at $3. So at that point, we're up $100. I sold the next one at 310, which happened to be near low of day. And then I did get stopped out on the last contract at 291 as we broke back above that 9 EMA. So here's the running P&L chart. You can pretty much see that fairly quickly we were up $100, and at the peak we were up like 120, but we did back test on that last contract, so we finished this trade up about 101 total, which I'll take. It's not anything that's insane. I'm not surprised that we kind of had this little back test here because I would prefer to play an individual stock because I can gauge relative strength, weakness versus SPY versus IWM, etc., QQQ. But in this case, I just didn't like the down. There was not really, to be honest, as much as you would think we're selling off, like we kind of are, but there's not a lot of, on the stocks I trade, they didn't provide really setups that made sense to play the downside for me. So I didn't trade anything. I didn't look at anything on the downside there. IWM was the only one that made sense. And so that was that. I'm not going to force it. We'll see what happens. We were kind of at this peak reversal period of like weakest time of the year moving into the strongest time of the year. So we'll see, like seasonality wise, right? This kind of makes sense to come down. But with that said, that will wrap this up technically it's 2 green days in a row. You can call yesterday a break even if you want. But really, we have 2 winning trades and 2 break-even trades on the month so far. These 2 on the left-hand side, yes, down 10, down 9. Stop loss was put to break even, and the contract stopped me out, 5-10 cents under the level. You know what I mean? So that's the deal. So as of right now, we're operating at a 50% win rate through 4 trades. So far, so good. Our average winner was 75. Our average loser is 950. So realistically, we don't have a red trade here because I'm in my head, I'm counting those as break evens. But all in all, system seems to be working decent. Still yet to have that really nice period of time where it's really working, but make our adjustments, adapt like usual, and we'll see what happens. So that's today's trade update or today's trade recap. Let me know any thoughts you have in the comment section down below. I'll leave links to TradeZilla, anything else that I use in the video description box, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.